What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another Fish the Moment live stream. Today I'm flying solo because I want to share a super exciting project that I've had in the works for over 2 years. It is a new fishing app that I'm hoping is going to help a lot of anglers become a lot better fishermen. It's going to take a lot of the knowledge that I've shared in my YouTube videos, consolidate it into a simple tool that you can use on the lake, and also as you're preparing for fishing trips. So super excited to get into it. I'm by myself today just because I want to be able to walk through the app and everything, but I'll also have Randy on next week to kind of get some comments on it as well. And before we get into talking about the app and everything like that, I want to make sure I get everything else covered off first. I'm actually nervous for this live stream, guys, because there's been so much work that's gone into this app, and it's kind of crazy that we're actually talking about it and I can actually share it with you guys because it's been something that I've had to keep secret for so long. It seems like I've been working on it now non-stop and never been able to talk about it with anybody, so I'm super excited to share it with you guys tonight. Before we get into that, though, a couple things we always have to do is shout out to our sponsors. First sponsor for tonight's live stream and podcast is Bridgeford Foods. As you guys know, Bridgeford is my go-to snack on the lake to go, fuel up when I'm on the water. I was actually out in the lake this past week, and I was really getting tired and kind of emotionally down from somewhat of a tough morning on the lake. And I realized I hadn't eaten in like 3 or 4 hours. And so I decided to sit down, take a break, ate a pack of Bridgeford beef jerky, and as soon as I basically got done with that snack break, got up, refocused my mind, and caught a 4-pounder within like 5 minutes. So a lot of times, guys, resetting your mind and also getting some fuel in your body that's portable, easy to take on the lake, can be the difference between having a really bad fishing day and turning it into a really good fishing day. So definitely check out some Bridgeford beef jerky when you're on the lake to fuel you up and just help you get through your fishing days. Huge shout out to Bridgeford. We don't have a Bridgeford giveaway this week. I forgot to put a question out last week for the giveaway, but I'll do a Bridgeford beef jerky giveaway again at the middle of this stream. So after getting to talking about the app, we'll do we'll let you guys know how you can sign up for a Bridgeford beef jerky giveaway to win 12 packs of Bridgeford beef jerky. Good deal. Other sponsor I want to shout out here really quick. Just give me a second to get organized. It's going to be a little bit chaotic again because I got my I'm flying solo again tonight, so got to man all of the different things, all the screens and stuff, so bear with me as I try to transition through everything. But one thing that I wanted to share is our other sponsor, the Bass Tank. The Bass Tank is out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're my go-to bass fishing electronics installation guys. They are all tournament fishermen, whether it's kayak fishing, bass boats and bass tournaments, crappie guys. And they have an amazing sale going on right now on their website, thebasstank.com. If you go to their homepage here and then you actually go either right here on the homepage, you'll see it, or you're going to have your Black Friday sales. And if you click on this, you'll actually see that they have a Garmin Echo Map 93 SV for $699 and a live scope transducer for $2,199. So a total package after your mail-in rebate, which you can actually get with this as well, it's like $2,700 for a full live scope rig. You're saving yourself $800 or $900. If you've been on the fence about getting live scope, this is a great way to get in, and this is the only place that has this deal. These guys got a bunch of inventory in, so you guys can order these up. So definitely head over to the Bass Tank if you're interested in getting a live scope. Maybe ask the wife, tell her, hey, this is the deal of the lifetime. We'll save ourselves $800. Maybe if you let me get the live scope now, you can spend the $800 on something else. Who knows? Maybe you can make that work. But either way, definitely check it out over on the thebasstank.com. Their Black Friday sales, and also just goes through the holiday as well. So definitely check that out over there. And again, huge shout out to the Bass Tank for sponsoring the live stream. Okay, let's jump into it, guys. I am very nervous to share what's going on here with this app. I've been working on it for so long with a team of guys out of Texas, and they are really great app developers, developed some really cool apps in the past, reached out to me basically to ask me what I would think about if I was going to make an app for bass fishing. And I'll show you here our website. We can actually sign up for our private or our public beta that you can actually sign up and get the app today. But also I want to walk you through the app on my phone when I have a way I can share the app on the phone. So we'll get into all of that. But let me first jump into the website that we actually designed for this app. And basically, here is the app. Let me get my face a little bit smaller so I'm not taking up 2/3 of the screen here. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm just going to make myself a little bit smaller and move myself. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of my face for now because you guys don't really need to see me. Just give me 1 second. Okay. There we go. Okay, so guys, this is our website for the app. The app is called Deep Dive. So if you go to our website, deepdiveapp.com, which I'm going to link down in the description below of this video. It's already down there, actually. Or you can just go right now, type in deepdiveapp.com. And this is our website where you can actually sign up for our public beta. We're not releasing the full version of the app quite yet. We're still wanting to beta test it with you guys, get your feedback on what features you like, what you don't like, maybe fixing any bugs before we actually launch it onto the Apple Play Store or the Apple App Store, and also the Google Play Store for Android. So we're going to have an Android version, and we're going to have an Apple version for you guys on iTunes. The idea behind this app, guys, is I really wanted to find a way to encapsulate all the factors that go into bass fishing, whether that's your wind, your current, precipitation, cloud cover, the sun, the wind direction, whether you have pre-front or post-front conditions with your barometric pressure, water clarity, water temperature, all these factors. And they're all things that we've actually captured in this app. We have a ton of inputs that actually affect the output of this app. And you guys know I love data. I used to be a demand planner, of basically demand forecaster for Nestle USA. And so I scheduled and forecasted pizza sales for stores all across the country, for Walmart, Kroger's, Piggly Wiggly, wherever you guys are. And I used a lot of that knowledge that I had in creating heuristic models, predictive models, forecasting in this app with the data that I've collected from bass fishing tournaments, from years of experience fishing, from other experts. And basically what we're able to do is give you detailed recommendations about what you should be doing on the water, and give you recommendations that change as the conditions on the lake change. And I'll show you this in the app how this works, but basically you'll see that at the top here the conditions are going to be stated for what they are right now. And in this example you can see today you have stable conditions, a windy day, and we say you should check out maybe throwing a bladed jig. Then you get the next day, you get actually pre-front conditions, clouds, some more wind, but some rain, and maybe a buzzbait is a good bait to pick up in those pre-front conditions. Then the next day you have post-front conditions. Well, as we all know, post-front conditions are not the best for throwing a buzzbait a lot of times, so maybe picking up a drop shot or a shaky head could be better. And then finally, you're on the second day after a front, conditions are still tough, but you maybe really want to get a bigger bite, picking up a jig or something like that might be a better option. So we give you ways to adjust your tackle, but not just your tackle, we also give you detailed recommendations on where to fish, the areas, the structure, the cover, the depth of water you should be in. And I'll show you all this stuff in the app, guys. But it's a really cool, comprehensive way to see what you should be doing on the water. And all of these patterns have been vetted through tournament research. I actually go through and make sure that the patterns in here line up with what's happening in professional level bass fishing tournaments. And I spent 2 years basically curating all the data, curating all the information in this so that it's actually useful. I don't want the data in here to just be a bunch of random stuff, and I'll throw my face back up here. I don't want this data that's in this app, guys, and all these outputs just to be like the basic, when it's windy, throw a spinnerbait. Like, that's not the goal of this. There's so many factors that interconnect in bass fishing, whether it's, the current flow, whether you have grass, the water clarity, the season of the year, water temperature, and they all kind of blend together. Fishing isn't this simple, solution where it's like, okay, wind is blowing and go do this. There's all these factors that are interconnected, and that's what I've really worked on with my team to figure out how we can actually develop an algorithm to calculate where people should be fishing, what they should be throwing to the best of my ability. And I feel like we've done the absolute best we can. I'm very, very proud of what we've been able to put out here. And obviously fishing is crazy. There's always things that can go differently, but I also feel like the patterns in here, once you compare them to tournament results, tournament finishes, they line up with what guys are doing in tournaments, what patterns are working once we kind of validated it. And so even though you may have 7 or 8 patterns that work on a given day, we're going to hopefully capture most, if not all, those patterns to give you guys an idea of where and what you should be doing if you have no idea what to do on the lake. So it's something that's really pretty awesome, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. And I'm basically going to pull up on my phone here and walk you through some of the app and like what we can do and how it works as we can look through the app. But one thing I do want to say is if you guys want to sign up for the private beta, or it's not private, I keep saying private, the public beta for this app, all you have to do is go to deepdiveapp.com. Then on the main page, you'll see when you get to deepdiveapp.com, you'll see a sign up for beta. If you just click the sign up for beta page, you're going to be taken to a short little survey, and that survey will basically show you or ask you, for your email address, your what type of lakes you fish, things like that. There's a few questions in there, or what your experience level is, and what whether you use Apple or Android for your phone. And once you go through and just fill out that quick questionnaire, our team is actually going to send you a link to your email to sign up for the app. You'll then sign up, and then you'll be able to download the app through a program called Test Flight. And that's something that is basically a way that you can test the app. You can't actually go into the Apple App Store or the Android Google Play Store and find the app yet. You have to go through Test Flight. We give you permission with your email, and then once you get permission, you can download it on your phone and use it as much as you like. We're not charging for this. This is for you guys basically to use the app, try it out, give us feedback. And all we ask, guys, is once you are using the app and get done with it, we really appreciate if you would send us any feedback you have down here at the bottom to help@deepdiveapp.com. It's at the bottom of the website, and you basically just roll down here and you'll be able to send us feedback and just let us know what's going on. And that's the thing about this app too, guys, is that it's me who's making it, so you guys can talk to me in the live stream. You can send us feedback through the app, and I want to get all the feedback we can, because if there's things that aren't quite right, that aren't quite where they need to be, we want to make it the best we possibly can. So think about this as a project that we can kind of work on together. I've been working on it by myself with the team here for the past 2 years, but now we really want your input to make this even better. So let's stop talking about the generalities, and you can see it on the app and everything like that, but let me pull it up on my phone here. So give me a second while I get all of this squared away. I need to do all of these things. Give me half a second here. Okay. Boom. Okay, so this now, guys, is the live app. I have my phone in my hand, and I'm actually scrolling with I'm scrolling with my finger like this. So this is the actual app on my phone. This is what you guys are going to see, which is awesome. Basically, what the app provides is the ability to see a bunch of different factors that are happening on your lake. So right now we're looking at Grand Lake of the Cherokees. And you can actually click up at the top here, and you can search your lake. You can check out a bunch of different lakes. We don't have every single lake in this set right now. We only have a certain set of states for highland and lowland reservoirs, just because we didn't want to overload everything with all the data and all the stuff just for this beta. So you may not have your lake in there, but you can actually request your lake, and that way when the app launches live to the App Store in version 1, we'll have your lake already in the app ready to go. So we just have a set of lakes. We have more. We have lakes for pretty much every single state where there's good bass fishing already in the background, but again, we just didn't want to overload it with the first beta test here. But you can at least pick some of the lakes here in the areas where I fish the most, your kind of southern states. And let's just kind of go through here, and I'm going to go back up to Grand Lake. Actually, let's go to Beaver Lake, because Beaver Lake is always tough, and I never know how to catch fish out there. So got Beaver Lake pulled up, and what I want to do is look through some of these factors that are coming in. So got Beaver Lake, water temperature 55 degrees. You can see we have stable conditions at the top of the screen here. Hoping you can read that. You have 50-degree air temperature, chance of rain, and you actually have the current flow. So we pull the current flow for all the lakes that have current flow going through them. So if the lake has a dam and is generating current, we're going to capture that. So you get your current flow in there. You also get your wind and wind direction, which is pretty cool, and then the front conditions. You can then come in here and you can pick 3 factors. There's 3 factors. We wanted to make it so that you don't have to you don't have to put in a million inputs. There's other apps out there where you have to put in so many inputs or do all these things, and we didn't want that. We wanted to make it as simple and seamless as possible. So you can come in here and you can change your water temperature. So let's say right now on Beaver, the water temperature I think right now is about 57 degrees-ish. So 57 degrees, 55, not too different. You can then change your water clarity. So you can go to dirty, 0 to 2 for the water, stained, or clear. So you can pick your different clarities to figure out, what your strategy should be. You can also let us know if there's grass in the lake. So if you have grass in your lake, let's say like a Lake Washita, it's kind of more like a highland lake, but it has grass in it in parts. So you can actually let us know if there's grass or not, and that will adjust to the algorithm. And then you can see here, if we go back to the stained water, you have strategies for deep and shallow water. So you can have your shallow water strategy here, and then you have your deep water strategy. So you actually get multiple types of strategies. You don't have to just fish shallow or just fish deep, or you can have them both show up. Then you can click in and it will let you know what your bait is. Obviously, we kind of give you the bait level because that's what is going to be something that you want to make sure you have the right bait if you're going to run the strategy. So we start at the bait level. Then we start rolling down. We say, okay, based on the factors you put in earlier, the water temperature, the water clarity, and then all of the other factors, the current flow, all that stuff, we're going to tell you where in the lake you should be fishing at a high level. For example, here we're saying you should fish in the first third of a creek. Now, in this example, we're showing creeks because we're looking at a Highland reservoir that has creeks. If this was a river system, we wouldn't talk creeks. We would talk main river channel, backwaters, things like that. If we were on a natural lake, you'd be talking more about like the flats, outside grass line, inside grass line, stuff like that. And all of these will adjust to be fitting for the lake you're on. So we know that there's not creeks on every lake. So if you're up north and you want information about where to check out on your lake that doesn't have creeks, we got you covered. All this changes. Next, we have some cover options, some structure options. And structure will change based on, again, the season of the year, water temperature, water clarity. And what we have here, we have some examples from contour map that what these areas look like on a contour map. So as you go back into your creeks, you can say, okay, this is the type of area I should be looking for a channel swing bank. You know exactly what to look for. You can say, okay, maybe I want to check out some flatter banks as well. So sometimes in this time of year, you kind of have in the fall kind of a mixture. Sometimes they're on the flatter banks, sometimes they're on the channel swing banks, and it kind of varies time to time. It's kind of weird like that this time of year and that water temperature. Depending on the wind direction and all that stuff, sometimes the flatter banks can be better or not. So get a couple options there. Roads and bridges obviously are going to be areas that are always going to be effective. And then you also have some of your steeper banks. So sometimes they're on those channel swing banks, sometimes they're on the steep side or the flat side. There's a little bit of variance in there. We want to make sure you can check out all the different options because they may be on any of those in the fall. In the summer, you're going to have probably less structure options just because the fish are a little bit more condensed, but in the fall, they're more spread out. You then get your cover options. We give you overhead views here of the best cover to look for, what bluff walls look like, what a chunk rock bank would look like, both Google Earth and from a drone shot, pea gravel banks, what that should be looking like, so if you want to plan that out, your riprap. We give you a lot of examples of what to be looking for and what you should be seeing on your lake to check out as you go through. We also give you a good idea of what your boat positions should be. So where should you be positioning your boat? What depth you should be casting into based on your water clarity. This will all adjust based on your technique, the bait you're throwing, all those things. And finally, we have the retrieve. So you can actually click in here and watch a video of how I would retrieve that bait. And you can see this is the retrieve that you would have. So there you go. Get a nice slow reel on that crankbait. So that's some things you get there. You're not just getting this basic information. You're getting everything you possibly could need down to the gear, the rod, the line, all that stuff. So these are all things that you can do to potentially catch fish on Beaver Lake in the conditions that you're in. Now let's say instead you want to check out a deep water strategy. Well, let's check out this Finesse Swimbait strategy. Same section of the creek usually, because if you're going to get suggestions in the same conditions, they'll be the same. But instead of looking at some of the shallower cover, now you have offshore structure examples of some humps. Maybe they're going to be on an offshore flat. Maybe they're going to be on a rounded point. So you get offshore structure examples. You also get examples of what to look for on your fish finder if you're fishing offshore. Obviously, you don't necessarily want pictures of the middle of the lake if you're fishing offshore, so we give you detailed sonar recordings, sonar images of what to look for, both on side imaging, down imaging, all those different things of what you should be looking for all the types of cover that match these strategies. Again, boat positioning, you have your retrieve here of how you would work that bait, so on and so forth in all of your gear. Now, the nice thing about this is that this app obviously works right now, but you can also, with this, go up to 4 days into the future and see how conditions change. So if we look at the conditions here, it says stable. Let's jump ahead into the future and see how these conditions change. So what we can actually do is, let's go back to, we saw sunset here. We were at sunset. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited. But basically you can see you have sunrise, you have the morning time, you have the afternoon. So these patterns are changing in this day. Look at all the different strategies we're offering. So normally at like sunrise, you're going to have patterns that maybe are a little bit more effective, up shallow, but you kind of have no winds, light current, so it's not that big of a deal. So maybe just throwing like a little swim bait or a crankbait around might be the best option. Then kind of in the morning time, that's when you get really tough fishing conditions. You get that midday lull. So maybe picking up a Finesse jig or a Carolina rig is going to be a better option in those conditions to pick up an extra bite or two. Then as the afternoon kicks in, usually those fish are going to be a little bit more aggressive. The wind's picking up a little bit, and we actually have a little bit of cloud cover that's up there. So maybe flipping a jig up shallow or throwing a jerk bait or a football jig may be a better option as those conditions improve in the afternoon, as opposed to throwing a Finesse jig or a Carolina rig. And then at the sunset again, those conditions are back up to being better for maybe like a little swim bait or a flat side crankbait. Again, you can go in here and you can change this to your water clarity. So if you go to some clear water in your lake, now you can see in that clear water, that flat side crankbait bite's not great because you have bluebird skies and light wind. But that swim bait bite is the deal. That's the thing you should be doing in that condition. It's pretty cool because it narrows it down, like that's the strategy that works. And then if we go to the afternoon, obviously more strategies are available because the wind is different, sky conditions are different, current flow is different, all those things. Nice thing too is that you can also then go and look into the future. So we can look on Wednesday. Wow, look, the strategies are completely different here on Wednesday at sunset than they were before. Instead, in that clear water of fishing a small little Finesse swim bait, based on these conditions with the current flow, the cloud cover, all that stuff, it may be better to throw a big flutter spoon and a hollow-bodied swim bait in those conditions because those fish are going to be more aggressive, just based on the factors that are up there. In the afternoon, you're better off with maybe like a jerk bait or a football jig. In the morning, again, jerkbait football jig seems like, kind of consistent there with the conditions. Jump ahead to Thursday, conditions change again, and as you see, these patterns are constantly shifting and changing. They're not changing a ton as you go day to day because obviously we're not changing all the factors. But if we change it to an area that has grass or something like that, that might be having more of an impact. Or if we change our water temperature up to a higher water temperature, that might be having a different impact on those fish and what you should be throwing. So all of these factors can be adjusted, and you can go all the way up to 4 days in the future. We don't want to go past that because past about 4 days in the future, we just found that the forecast for the weather and the current flow and all that stuff is just not accurate enough. So we say 4 days out. That will let you plan out, let's say on Wednesday, you get to you're sitting in your office, you're sitting around the house, and you can basically go through and play around with your conditions and stuff like that on Wednesday for Saturday, for your fishing day, for your tournament day, all that stuff. And then you know exactly, what the conditions should be like, what baits to throw, what to have tied on. And then while you get to the lake, you could also then load up that day and see, hey, have the conditions changed since Wednesday? Is the wind stronger than it was forecasted? Is the cloud conditions different? Things like that. And you're going to be able to adjust all of that along with your water temperature and your water clarity. So that is the app as it sits right now, and it's been so much work putting this all together. We have a lot of lakes in here, guys, so many lakes you can scroll through, even right now in our private beta. So we're adding more lakes for version 1. We just kind of, again, limited it for data reasons, so we're not overloading everything. But if you guys do want to download the app for the public beta, you can request your lake. You can mess around with the lakes, mess around with the features, all that stuff. On lakes maybe you're not fishing, just to get a feel for the app, give us feedback. And then if you request your lake, by version 1, when we actually launch it publicly on the app stores, your lake will already be in the app ready to go. So that's how it works. So that is the deal right there. Let's see. Someone asked if there's Lake Murray in South Carolina. I am pretty sure we got South Carolina. We got North Carolina, South Carolina, Lake Murray right there. Lake Murray, South Carolina already in there. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys are interested in this, something that I've been working on for, again, so long. I wanted this to be something that's really, really game-changing, that's not just like every other basic bass fishing app that's out there, because there's a lot of just random apps that guys have put out that's like, here's what a guy said he caught a fish or whatever it is, and that's only helpful to an extent that you were there on that exact day and those exact time. With this, you can adjust to the conditions, and you can get a sense for what you might be able to do. And we give you multiple strategies because, as you guys know, not every single time you go to the lake, every strategy here might be working. And that's just the way the fishing goes. But maybe with this, you can have 2 different strategies rolling, a deep diving jerkbait and a football jig. And you can maybe mix up between those 2 for half a day or maybe for the morning, and it gives you some time. And then, earlier in the morning, you can throw your Carolina rig, your drop shot around. And as the day progresses, you have multiple strategies in addition to all the different places to fish. And actually, it's kind of interesting. If you look, water temperature, we dropped it down a little bit and went to clearer water with that jerkbait pattern. And before, we showed that the area was, the first third of that creek. But as that water temperature cools, as you get more clear water, especially if you have smallmouth in your lake like Beaver Lake does, that jerkbait bite on the main lake is going to be better, especially with the wind and all those factors. And all of that stuff adjusts. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background that adjusts that. But it'll say, hey, stick to the main lake and check out some of these channel swing points on the main lake. Check out an offshore flat on that main lake flat. Check out one of these rounded points. Fish around some bait fish. Maybe if you have some offshore grass in your lake, side scan around for some offshore grass if you've selected grass, or check out, throw it over the top of some shallow rock piles. All those things, guys, are things that you can do with this app. And let me pull up the website again so you guys can actually see this. Give me 1 second to pull this up. Oh, I did it there. Okay, never mind. I need to transition this over here. Okay. So this is the website, guys. You can go to deepdiveapp.com. Deepdiveapp.com, you can sign up for our public beta. We have as many people as want to sign up off this live stream. They can. You get the app. You can use it just like I was doing here. Test it out. We really want your feedback, guys. That's the reason we're doing this public beta. We want to get ideas from you on features that you would like us to include. If there's little bugs here and there that you find that you want us to fix, maybe there's just some things that you feel like maybe would help functionality, layout, whatever it is, we really just want your feedback on it so that we can make it even better than it is now. And the nice thing about apps, guys, is that we plan on, launching this app with the features we have here, but as we, go into the future over the, 6 months to a year, this app can constantly improve. We can send out updates. That's the most exciting part of this, is that this is just the beginning. This is just the base for what could be something extremely special. And really, the best way you guys can, support us with that is obviously help us with this public beta, signing up on deepdiveapp.com, giving us feedback. But also, once the app launches, if you guys sign up for the app and, do our membership, do the app stuff, you're supporting us not only to help us with this current version, but also everything we want to add into the future. You give us feedback, all that stuff, because I want this to be something that grows into an extremely useful tool, and you guys are the ones who are going to help us figure out what all the tools and all the functionalities are going to be. So that is pretty much it, guys, for that. People are like, I want it now. If you want it now, K&A Reefing, just go to deepdiveapp.com, sign up for the public beta. Our team is going to basically, the way that the it's kind of complicated with the test flight thing, but we have to basically take your email and send you an email with a sign-up link. So you'll see an email from help@deepdiveapp.com. Come in, it's deepdiveapp.com is the email address, and then you can download the test flight app, and then you can download the app, and that's just a way that beta testing is done. I'm not the app guy. That's just I'm just the data guy, the info guy. But something that, again, has been working so hard on, and I'd love to get any questions, and hopefully you guys are liking them. I haven't read the comments. I've been too busy looking. People are saying they signed up. I'll be waiting for the email. That's awesome. Looks really cool. Just signed up. That's great. I'm glad. Cool. Looking forward to trying this app. Someone share the website. Yeah, it's down in the description, guys. deepdiveapp.com. What states are on this app? Right now, we just have some of the southern states, again, just to do a little bit less burden on the app on the back end for the test. But we're going to try to get all the major lakes in there. And again, if you request your lake, we're going to have it in there for version 1. So there's actually a way in the app to request your lake, and we'll get it in there day 1 when the app launches if you sign up for the beta and then help us. So it's crazy. He says he's been sitting on this idea for 4 years. Impressive. Yeah, it's I've been waiting a long time to share this. It's crazy because it's like I've been doing all the YouTube stuff, obviously. I'm doing all the Fish the Moment stuff. And then in the background, I'm building this. And it's so much time, so much effort put into, obviously getting all of the app design, getting all the algorithms right, the data, verifying it, making you guys can figuring out the heuristic models, all that stuff. It's like a ton of work, and I can't share any of it. So it's been 2 years of that, and then also doing all the Fish the Moment stuff that you guys know I love to do. So it's very cool that, again, I can share it. I was very nervous to share this out because it's been a passion project of mine for so long, and I've been just so pumped about it, and I'm great to it's just great to see all the positive feedback, at least from you guys here in the stream. And Harry's asking, can you sign up for or can you request one lake or multiple? You can request multiple. If you want to request 7 or 8 lakes, go for it. We want to make sure we get as many lakes in there as possible, and we have some time before version 1 launches, so definitely put as many lakes in there as you feel like you're going to fish, and we'll get them going. Any Indiana lakes, Jesse, you can sign up for the beta here on the website and request the lakes, and we'll have those added in. Right now, there's none in the actual app for the beta, but for version 1, we can get those added in for you. And someone says, let's see here, saying, I'm glad you made this. I was hoping for someone to make this. Yeah, I appreciate I appreciate everyone's excitement about this, because it's something that I don't know, fishing apps have been really bad from what I've seen. There's some decent ones out there, but there's nothing that's like super concrete that gives, I feel like, really actionable information, and that's the reason that I wanted to make this. And there's been better apps since I started this project 2 years ago that have launched since, but I still feel like this is something that's going to really be a useful tool for a lot of other anglers, and something that I've made my playbooks and make my YouTube videos, and really what I tried to do is take a lot of the knowledge that I share in my YouTube videos with all my detailed graphics and all that stuff, and put it into an app that's able to make adjustments and change and do all these things. So that's the deal right there. So again, sign up deepdiveapp.com if you want to sign up for that public beta. Good deal. Okay, well that was awesome, guys. I'm glad I was able to share that, to get that all off of my chest after so long. And what I'm going to do now is I am actually going to pivot here, and let's see here. Let me get this. I need to get all this stuff out of here. Just give me a second. And I want to pivot a little bit to a different topic. This is a very exciting topic, so it's hard to leave it. But I do want to pivot to a different topic here and share some ideas I have from you from my recent Catch 15 series of videos. Fortunately, because of all the app stuff kind of coming to kind of a culmination with launching the private beta or the public beta, I've had more time to fish recently, and as a result, I've actually been able to do more Catch 15 challenges. If you guys watch my main YouTube channel, Fish the Moment, you'll know I do my Catch 15 prep videos, my actual fishing videos, and since starting the app, it's funny, building a fishing app really has caused me to fish way less than before the app. So it's really cool because if you actually look at this data sheet I put together, I have June, July, August, September, and then I fished 3 times. The past 3 weeks I've actually gone fishing, which is awesome. Basically, these are the times I've gone fishing since June, just because of everything that's going on. I've gone a couple more times just for fun, but not for filming. So I have not filmed very much on the water, and that's why you haven't seen as many Catch 15 videos. But I'm rolling them out now, which is very fun because I love these videos. And we actually posted one today, so definitely check that out on the main Fish the Moment YouTube channel. But what I wanted to go through with you guys today is some of the data that I've been gathering from these Catch 15 videos, and get your opinion on what data I should be continuing to capture, because I want to really dive into the metrics of these challenges. And if you guys are unfamiliar with how these challenges work, what I do is I pick a lake, I go there with no practice, I don't have a lot of prior experience on a lot of these lakes. I mean, I go to these lakes often enough, but I go to them once a season. So for example, I went to Grand Lake in the summer, Grand Lake late summer, Grand Lake in fall. I caught fish in all different areas of the lake. I was in completely, different creeks. I didn't fish any of the same spots. So I'm just kind of going blind for most of these and just figuring out what to do day of, fish in the moment. And the goal is to catch 5 fish for 15 pounds. On my lakes in my region of the country, if you can catch 15 pounds, you're in the top 10 of pretty much every single tournament you fish, other than maybe Grand Lake in March. But still, 15 pounds is a really good bag most lakes, most times of the year. So it's kind of like a tournament caliber bag. So my goal when I go out is, without any practice, can I catch 15 pounds of fish? Let me get a drink of water. I've been talking so much. So that is... So that's the premise of the Catch 15 challenge. What I've been doing is I've been collecting data on if I completed the challenge, my total weight, the style of fishing I started the day with, the style of fishing I ended my day with in case I had to make a change, whether I changed my strategy or not throughout the day, the key bait I was using, the number of fish I lost, and that will give you my potential weight, because if I had a bad day, for example on Beaver Lake in this recent video, I lost all 5 keepers that bit. I saw 4 of them, and then one of them I'm just guessing it was 3 to 4 pounds. So I had a potential weight of 13 pounds. I missed 13 pounds of fish, so I want to make sure that I'm not penalizing myself too harshly for days where I zero, but I had the fish on. And I want, because the goal is not necessarily always for me to catch 15 pounds, getting 15 pounds in the boat. I want to make sure that I know I'm around 15 pounds of fish. That's really important. So if I have my potential weight here, I know, okay, if I was 100% in execution, I at least was around the right fish. Versus on a day like Grand Lake this past week, I had 3 keeper bites, so we've gone 9.5 pounds. That's not getting it done. I only landed 2 of them for 6.25 pounds, so that is not great. But I have all this data here, and I want to get your opinion, guys, on what other data points I might be able to bring in off these Catch 15 challenges. And I'll kind of walk you through why I picked some of these data points, and then leave in the comments other data points you think I should be collecting. And then I'll make a full video kind of recapping all of this. But one thing that we're going to find with the that I try to do with this data, and I see a bunch of questions coming in about the app here. I'll answer those here in a bit. They're kind of rolling in afterwards. A lot of guys are asking about how long will it take to get the email. Basically, my team, they're getting the requests right now. I'm sure that they're with their families having dinner. So probably by tomorrow or the next day by Thursday, we'll get all those requests out. Don't want to take the team away from their dinner. So we're going to send out as many emails as we can tomorrow and the next day to get everyone signed up. So yeah, definitely will be coming soon. And then Daniel asked, how small are you willing to go? I fish mostly lakes 100 acres and smaller. As long as they have a name and you can put the county and we can actually locate the lake, that's the important part. We just need to be able to locate the lake and find it on some mapping, and then we can. That's all we really need. We don't need any. We don't need a big, massive lakes. We can do it on small lakes as well. So yeah, just send out everything, and as long as we can find it. If it's hard to find, or if it's a little private pond, it's gonna be very hard to find because we don't have like ways you can put the GPS coordinates. Maybe that's something we could put in there, but right now we don't have that in there. And I'm not saying we're going to do that either. All the guys are like, don't tell them any features. Apologize. I just get excited. Bunch of questions on how the Todd's asking, is the weather auto-generated or manual? It's all auto-generated, the weather, Todd. All those factors feed in automatically. The only inputs you have to change are water clarity, water temperature, and if there's grass or not. Because sometimes lakes will have grass and they won't have grass. Like we could have said, okay, this lake has grass in it, but sometimes the grass dies. You guys know how that is. So we didn't want to set that. Let's see here. And then do you do river systems? Yes, river systems are available in there, just not right now in the beta version. We just have highland reservoirs, lowland reservoirs just for the test, but we do have river systems in the background, like the Arkansas River's in there and stuff like that. We just don't have it in the public beta right now. And like Mississippi River, all that stuff is in there. Let's see here. Launch date, TBD. Don't want to say anything there. But I'll make sure I update you guys as the beta and everything goes through and everything like that. I'll keep you guys updated. So you can just check back on the weekly live streams and I'll keep you updated and all that. And same thing on the cost, TBD on that. Questions about if there's a way to incorporate user catch data. Something that we would love to do, and something that I actually am really excited about potentially doing. Right now we don't have anything in there about that, but if that's something you guys are interested in, something that definitely is potentially possible down the line. There's so many things we want to add, so I'm not saying we're going to do it by any means, but it's definitely an interesting idea. So definitely keep sending recommendations with all your feedback. And I probably should just have the background, the app pulled up, because I'm now just talking about the app. I don't know why I'm trying to get in this other thing when everyone's asking about the app. I should just keep it here. But yeah, all those things are, right now we're not going to be launching with that. We're going to be launching pretty much as is here with the features that you see that I was scrolling through on the screen. But, we want to grow this to be useful for you guys. So that's something you guys all really, really want, and that's something that we can definitely take a crack at, put it that way. And there's a bunch of other things about feeding time, stuff like that. So it's all things that we've definitely discussed. And there's so many little features and stuff that we want to add in. And obviously there's just a time constraint versus like the development time and all those things. So we prioritize the stuff that we felt was the most important with the app for launch. And we're really going to be basing all of our additional features that we add in based on your feedback again. So if there's a huge outcry for feeding windows with moon phases, boom, we'll try to make that happen. If there's a huge swell of feedback for logging and stuff like that, then we can take a look at that. But we don't know exactly the direction we're going to go, because we really want to get all of your feedback with that first and see what you guys want. That's the big thing. So again, be vocal, let us know, send us an email. You can go to the bottom of our website, deepdiveapp.com, and send the help@deepdiveapp.com. We'll send you guys a survey at the end. All the people who do the public beta, you're going to get a survey at the end, and you'll be able to give us feedback, type out whatever you want, say these are the things we want. We're going to aggregate it all, which is really, really cool, and we can get as much feedback from you guys as we can, and that will really help us choose a direction going forward. Let's see here. We do have Toledo Bend in there, and we're going. How about water levels? The water levels are auto generated in the background as well. We didn't put those. We didn't put those as like a select or anything, but water level is in there as well. It auto adjusts, so all the strategies, all the baits, everything based on if the water is high or low or normal, all of that auto adjusts in the background of the app. So yeah, water level is in there. Let's see here. And then how long do you expect the beta to last? TBD on that. We're not going to have it open indefinitely, but we don't know how long we're going to have it open. We really want to make sure, it just depends on how many people get in, how much feedback we get. We want to get a good group of people in testing it. So as long as, we still feel like we need people coming in, load testing our servers, looking for bugs, all those things, because there's going to most likely be some bugs in there, guys. So definitely call us out if there's weird things, like if stuff is, thing is updating or whatever it is. It's an app. All apps have bugs. So again, we want to get as many people in as we can to get all that stuff ironed out before we actually launch, because that's something that is really important to us. We want to have the cleanest, most locked in experience once we launch it onto the App Store. So not 100% on that. The level rising or falling and for how long, that's something that we have Big G in there as well. So that's something that is in the background for sure. And then Mike says, if you hope we're going to charge you, we will charge for this. This is the public beta is just to kind of get some testing on it, but we're definitely going to be doing a charge on it. So don't worry if you guys are worried for our bank accounts. And I appreciate you guys looking out for our bank accounts, because this was a lot of work and a lot of time. So we definitely want to make sure we can be compensated for all that effort. But we're gonna have a subscription for it. But right now it's again just a testing phase. But I appreciate that, Mike. I'm glad you're looking out for us. You guys are always good about that. I appreciate that. I always am just like, let's get that data out there. And everyone's like, oh, wait, you got to make money off that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm sure. That works. Let's see here. There's some good stuff about title information. That's a really cool concept as well. You guys are throwing so many good ideas, and these are a lot of the stuff, guys, we've talked about. And obviously, as I said, we've been doing this for 2 years, so we have a lot of ideas kind of on the back burner of what we want to do. And that's, again, the big thing with this public beta is to get a sense of how many requests we're getting for how many features, because we want to get all the features in, but there's only so much of our time. Most of our guys on our team have families, and want to make sure we don't drive everyone into the ground. I've been working really hard to get all the videos and stuff out. A lot of guys are always asking, why don't you upload, all the time, posting 3 videos a week. Now you guys know, it's the app. The app is taking up a lot of my time. I could post more YouTube videos, but then we wouldn't be able to do cool projects like this. So I'm trying to find a good balance there. That's the plan. Let's see here. Will lure colors be included in the app? Yes, lure colors are actually included in there right now. For version 1, right now we have the color pops up when you look at the baits, but we just have like a color swatch, but all the colors of the baits will change. So actually, as water clarity and stuff and the conditions change, cloud, wind conditions, all that stuff, as that change, color will also change. You'll be able to see that with the bait icons. That's just something we didn't want to put the time into before the beta, but we'll get that for V1. Let's see here. Is it a generic strategy or tournament strategy? Asking for a friend, looking for a win. So what I try to do with the strategies, guys, is I try to give a good mixture of tournament strategies and just generic strategies that are good for catching fish. The idea behind it is I wanted all the tournament strategies to be in there. So kind of the way to think about it is that most of the strategies in here are focused for they're focused for guys who want to catch, good quality fish. But then there are also patterns I threw in there where, like, some guys just want to go out and catch, 3, 4, 5 fish a day. They don't care if they're 2 pounds or 5 pounds. So I tried to also adjust the algorithm and the forecast and stuff like that so that you get a few patterns that are, the tournament caliber patterns, a few patterns that are more just like get a limit patterns. And you'll probably can tell that too just by the baits and stuff like that. And that's actually really good. You guys are giving me so many good ideas. Like maybe we could I'm not going to say we're going to do all these things, but I'm just thinking of all these ideas now that you guys are throwing it out. Like you could annotate that. I don't know. There's things we can do. There's so many little things that I have in my head. But yeah, there's so much potential here, guys. And that's the other thing that I'm so excited about. Asked question was, how do I get on the beta testing? Just head to deepdiveapp.com and you can sign up for the beta there. No problem. Just go to deepdiveapp.com and just fill out a little form. And you're in. Question, what differentiates deep dive from fish brain? Okay, so let me I'm going to pull up my phone again just to kind of give you guys an idea of, one second. Let me pull this back up. I'm going to pull back up my phone just to walk through, because I feel like there's so many questions about the app. I should just have the app open rather than trying to do my other thing. I thought it was going to not take as much time, gives me questions, but I was wrong. So let me get the app pulled back up, and I'll actually be able to show you on my screen. Okay, let me get my screen going again. Just give me a second here, guys. Because you guys are asking some amazing questions, and I want to make sure I can answer them to the best of my ability. So just give me 1 second here. So, okay, got the app pulled back up. So what differentiates this from FishBrain? So FishBrain, I'm not like a super user of FishBrain or anything like that, but a lot of it is FishBrain is focused on like community sharing of, here's places where guys have caught fish in the past, and then here are maybe some ideas on the baits they've thrown and stuff like that. That's all well and good, but as a lot of you guys know, if you catch fish on a spot one day, most likely those fish are going to move, they're going to change due to different conditions, whether it's the season of the year changes, the wind direction changes, water temperature, water clarity. The baits that are recommended there may be really great when it's blowing 20-mile-an-hour winds and you have stable conditions and the water's warm. But let's say you get a cold front that passes through. I can give you an example. I know that actually over here on Grand Lake, there was I'll pull up Grand Lake just because I saw it before I opened up the app, and I can just show you that there's we're in post-front conditions right now. So like right now we're in post-front conditions. In post-front conditions, your bait selection, the areas you're going to be fishing, all those things are going to be very different from what someone may have caught one time years ago, and who knows what size those fish were, what quality they were. This app is going to make sure you're catching quality fish or putting you around patterns that are going to be, putting you in position to catch good quality fish. I've backed these or, correlated all of this to tournament winning strategies from professional level tournaments to make sure all of those patterns on these lakes come out in the, predictions from the algorithm. It's not just not just like a thing where we just put a bunch of stuff in and then we didn't test it. We actually verified to make sure everything is working. And like in these post-front conditions, we're going to give you baits that are going to work really well in those conditions, but not just in those conditions, but in different water clarities. So for example, let's say you have your deep and your shallow strategies. Let's just say you want to fish offshore. Well, offshore on Grand Lake, in the clearer end of the lake, you might be able to catch them on a Carolina rig in post-front conditions, a drop shot, and maybe a jigging spoon out in the middle of those pockets and coves on the bait fish, and if you're in the clear water. But let's drop that clear water to some stained water. Boom. The drop shot bite and the jigging spoon bite are gone. The Carolina rig is the best thing to throw in that situation. Pretty much throughout the entire day on that stained water, just because those fish are in that post-front mood. They're not really feeling it with that deep strategy. They're not in a active, aggressive mood with those post-front conditions. So they're not going to be biting very well. But also in that stained water, without the water visibility, those fish are not going to be able to bite a jigging spoon or a drop shot as well because they don't have the I'm getting to the clear water. They don't have the water visibility. So in the clear water, that drop shot and the jigging spoon are great options in clear water in post-front conditions because they have the water visibility and those fish will get out deeper where these baits are effective. But in that stained water, not going to be as effective on those baits, and you're going to have a lot better time catching them on a Carolina rig, a bait closer to the bottom where that water is more stained. Let's say then you get into real dirty water. Well, on Grand Lake, 54-degree water temperatures, there's not any deep strategies that are showing up, because really in that deeper water, in that dirtier water, cold, dirty water, not the best for catching fish offshore in any conditions from my experience. And I spend a lot of time fishing offshore, and also just from tournament results and things that we validated, with other anglers and stuff like that. And maybe the shallow patterns where you need to go, and the best way to do that based on, again, everything we've researched, all the predictive algorithms based on the conditions, a finesse jig is going to be your best option. And I know for a fact that a finesse jig is working on Grand Lake in these exact conditions, because I faced those last week and it was working. So that is pretty cool that actually validates that. But then as you go ahead a day, you might find that the conditions change, where instead of having these pre-front conditions or post-front conditions, you now go back to stable conditions. And now in that dirty water, instead of fishing a finesse jig, you can actually catch them throwing a flipping jig. Or maybe you can actually catch them on a jerk bait, because those fish are going to be a little more aggressive, the wind is blowing, and even in that stained water, those fish will get up there and get a little bit more aggressive in those areas. But maybe there's not enough wind, for example, to get them to really start biting a chatterbait. So there's current plays into this, wind, there's a lot of other factors, the sky conditions, all these different things play into it. But as you get different wind and sky conditions and stuff, in the same day, you could go from saying, hey, best way to catch them is flipping a jig, throwing a jerk bait. Now it says, okay, let's throw a bladed jig, a medium diving crankbait like a wigglewort, or a spinnerbait, because the conditions are now right for a spinnerbait. A lot of guys might think, okay, Grand Lake of the Cherokees, dirty water, 54 degrees, I'm going to go throw a spinnerbait all day long. Most of the time, the bite window for a spinnerbait is not all day long, and all the research and all the data that we piled through and all that stuff shows that these guys are not catching fish on a spinnerbait all day long. There's little bite windows for these different baits, and that's what's reflected in this app. So I guess to explain it simply, this allows you to fish the moment. The app allows you to fish the moment. It predicts where the fish should be based on data and heuristic models, versus just saying, here's where someone caught a fish one time way in the past, and we don't know who that person is, what they've done, and if their data is accurate. This is vetted against actual tournament strategies, everything like that. So that is the deal. And that's Jacob says, no way to know if they're telling the truth in Fishbrain. It could be complete BS. That's true. Guys could literally be putting fake points and fake data in there. This is based on conditions, things like that. Obviously, there's no fact. If you guys know, like, I was a demand planner for Nestle USA doing DiGiorno pizzas. I would plan a forecast of how many DiGiorno pizzas are going to sell across the United States in all of our stores. Well, I was given a big pat on the back when I had a 75% forecast accuracy. If I was 75% correct, I got a C. My managers were like, great job, Jonny. You did awesome this month. 75% forecast accuracy. And that's how forecasting is. You're never going to get this perfectly accurate forecast. Otherwise, we'd never have, in supply chain, we'd never have shortages. We'd never have products out of stock on the shelves. And if you guys are going to tackle stores around, you know that that's not how it works. And sometimes that's due to manufacturing issues, stuff like that. But even when there's plenty of inventory, there's still shortages, there's still overages, all those things. So that's how you have to think about an app like this, at least at a high level, is that we're creating a model that predicts what should be happening based on what's happened in the past, also based on how all these factors interplay with each other to give you the best forecast, the best prediction of what's going to happen. Is it going to be 100% accurate? No. But there's no forecast that's 100% accurate. There just doesn't happen. That's just the way it goes. But it's going to be 75 to 80% accurate, and that's really, really, really good for like a forecasting for a model like that. And that's what we're trying to go for here. And that will get you around the fish way more often than it's not going to get you around the fish and getting you around with the right strategies. So actually it's kind of cool because I've actually been using this app, and in my Catch 15 videos, I feel like I'm cheating a little bit because like there's days when I go out there and I'm like, my head's spinning and I'm like, what do I do? And I actually did this on Grand Lake. I pulled out the app, used the app on Grand Lake, and was like, what adjustment should I make? Boom, I'm like, oh man, the current is flowing, the wind is really blowing. I need to abandon what I was doing, go try something else, and it immediately resulted in like a 3-pounder. I lost the fish, but it resulted in a 3-pounder that bit within 5 minutes, and it was because I actually looked at the app and saw the conditions changed and saw the recommendations, and I didn't even recognize it myself on the water. but the app recognized it before I did, which is super cool, and I love that. So that's pretty cool. And then Timo says, if my river is not listed in the beta, can I still use the app? Yeah, you can still, when you get into the app, guys, you can pull up lakes that, there's a bunch of lakes in here. The big thing is if your river or your lake isn't in there, you're just going to have to kind of look around on these other lakes that are in there right now, and then you can request your lake. And again, for version 1, we're going to have river systems, natural lakes, all these other lake types added in there, which we have in the background. We're just holding them back for data, so we don't overload everything again. So don't worry about that. They're going to be in there, and if you request your lake, we're going to get it into the app. So don't worry about that. Just for the beta, we don't have everything, everything in there, because it's just a beta for all the lakes and stuff like that. Let's see here. To pass around points, they won't be on 100% of points. That is a great point there, Jesse, and that's something that's super true. If we come into here and we say, fish this jerkbait, we're going to say, check out these channel swing banks. Maybe this channel swing bank is going to be effective with that jerkbait, but yeah, not every single channel swing bank is going to have fish on it at all times, but at some point in the past, someone in those conditions found some fish on some channel swing points, and you may have to run 4, 5, 6 of them to get to one that actually is holding fish. And same thing around, there's lots of different cover options that you might be able to have with these different baits, especially in the fall. The fall is kind of a weird time because the fish are on everything. It's better when you switch your water temperatures up to summertime stuff. The fish are a lot less varied. Fall time is like junk fisher's paradise because you can fish everything all over the lake. Everything is kind of working. Bait wise, it's not as wide sometimes of a selection, but area wise, it's really wide. But then versus in the summer, bait selection is a lot smaller, and the areas are also more refined. So it just certain times of the year you can actually predict stuff easier, just because the fish are more grouped up in certain areas of the lake. I'm sure you guys have seen that before with your lakes. That things sometimes work better in certain seasons, and that is reflected in the app, which is also really cool. Did you use the app on the Beaver Lake Catch 15? I did not. No, that one did not. I did not. We didn't have that one up and running yet for that one. That was back in, I think I filmed that back at the end of October, so we didn't have everything buttoned up yet all the way. But I wish I did, honestly, because that one, I made the adjustment for the dock fishing and stuff like that, but I probably should have been looking at that. One thing I thought of, actually, as I was looking back, and I actually was looking at the app, one of the patterns that was recommended in there, I was looking at the other day, I was editing my video, and I was just looking at the app, because now I'm like, ooh, this pretty tool is here, and it recommended a pattern that I didn't even think about in all of my preparation and all that stuff. But now that I think about it and back to the data of all the data I had entered and all the stuff over the years, there's so much that goes through my brain, you can't remember it all. But I remembered there was one tournament on a lake that's like Beaver Lake from the early 2000s where a guy caught him on this pattern in this time of year. It was a whole thing. And I'm like, oh, that's the pattern. And I remembered it after looking at the app, but I couldn't remember it in the moment because it was some random obscure pattern that happened way long time ago. And so that was really cool too, is it's almost kind of like a memory log too, where it's hey, this pattern worked in the past. We know that all these factors come together. This should work. Go try it. And I wish I would have, had the app to remind me of that pattern in that moment. So that would have been pretty cool. And then Store says, can I change it to where it tells me to throw a jerkbait 100% of the time? That kind of defeats the purpose of fishing the moment. But maybe if you just want to scroll ahead, I'm sure if you scroll ahead into the future long enough, at some point it'll tell you to throw a jerkbait. So maybe that's the way to do it. But it wouldn't be my recommendation, but it's definitely something you could do. Todd's asking about how the app determines the flow rate and current flow. That is proprietary information. Can't give away all the secrets. We'll say it took a lot of work to figure that one out. Good deal. People like dark mode. Yeah, dark mode. I love dark mode on the apps. That's always cool. You can always scroll down to you guys and refresh all of your data and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the deal. Looks great. I'm trying to read through all these comments and questions, guys. I've been talking for almost an hour. That's crazy. Let's see here. Guy B says, awesome, I'm going to need this to give me the edge so my wife stops stops out fishing me. There we go. That's the deal right there. Really slick. Awesome. Someone says they have the app up and running. Hey, good job, team. Apparently they're skipping dinner with the family because apparently some people have already using it. That's great. Good. If you guys are listening on, my team's listening on the stream, you guys are rock stars. So apparently they're already putting people into the app. That's the service you guys get here. Fish the moment. Jacob says we need a few hidden Easter eggs in the app, like a picture of Randy's naked photo shoot or something. That might scar users. We may have to put that to like a rated M. For mature or like an 18 plus rating. So I don't know if we can do that one, but that is a funny idea with the Easter eggs. And then Harry says, is Randy going to be using this with LiveScope next year? It's going to be a great tool. I'm glad you think it's cool. Yeah, I don't know how Randy's going to feel about this one. I'm going to be like, hey Randy, you want to go LiveScope some fish using this predictive algorithm in a fishing app on your phone? And he might just start crying, or he might punch me. I don't really know, so I'm not going to go there. When we go fishing, we don't go in my boat. We go on Randy's boat. No LiveScope. Randy is happier, so that's how we do it. Let's see here. Let's see here. How many baits are in the beta? There are a bunch of baits already in there. If you do find a bait that's not in there at the moment, I know one bait that I didn't put in there is glide baits. I know I need to add that in there. The reason we didn't do it is because there's no tournament winning like patterns with glide baits. It's kind of like an obscure thing, and so I didn't put it in there because it's so niche that it doesn't show up in tournament results, and I don't have enough experience on the glide bait thing to know. So I didn't put anything in here that I didn't have data to back it up or have knowledge myself of how to do it. I might need to get in contact with like some of those Swimbait guys, but I know a lot of guys go out with the Swimbait, the big glide baits, and they don't catch a fish all day. And that's not really what I wanted to do with this app either. So maybe if we wanted to do like a challenge mode or something, I don't know how we do it, but I didn't put glide baits in there because I know that is a super challenging technique, and the chances of actually going out and catching fish on that are very low, especially for a new angler. I don't want someone to pick up the app, say, ooh, glide bait, click the glide bait, and then they fish it for 30 minutes and don't catch anything, and they're like, okay, glide baits suck. Well, you have to throw glide bait for 8 hours straight for 3 days in a row sometimes to get a couple bites. So that is kind of the idea with that. I tried to make sure that the data that's in here is backed up by real stuff. That's how I want to put it that way. I want it to be accurate and going to give you guys good recommendations that are going to help you catch fish. And sometimes I feel like glide bait fishing, that's almost I wouldn't feel good recommending someone go throw glide bait all day. That's more of sometimes a punishment than a favor. Mike says app is up and running. There we go. Let's see here. Steve is so Steve with Randy's picture, he actually did a naked photo shoot for Sportsman Outdoors magazine or something when he was in his like 20s, when he was like 26 or 27, like my age, and he did like a photo shoot, and apparently they called him like Nature Boy or something, and they said that they weren't going to use the picture. I don't know why Randy would drop his drawers and take a picture of him in looking into the sun and just no clothes on, and he's like, oh, we're just taking a picture just for fun. And then they made it like the cover of a magazine or like a magazine article spread or something. It's pretty funny. Let's see here. And Timo says, get recommended area, go graph. Oh, enter data, recommended area. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Go to your deep area, put your factors in, boom. Then it says, go start graphing these structures and start looking for this stuff. That's what you need to look for. So it gives you the structures and the covers to start graphing on. Boom, you're good. That's what we talk about right there. Fish the moment. Will the application be species specific? That's a great question, guys. So right now, the app is actually specifically on here for largemouth for the beta. The reason we did that is because with the largemouth and stuff like that, that's just kind of where we could limit the data again. We are going to eventually get smallmouth, spotted bass, and hopefully we'll go into other species if that's something you guys are interested in with like crappie and walleye. We don't have any plans for that like right now, but if that's something that you guys are interested in, we can expand this to multiple species. So we're actually on the smallmouth side. I'm going to hold off on the smallmouth just for a bit because actually you guys know Matt Steffen is joining Fish the Moment team, and I'm actually going to pick Matt's brain because he has so much more knowledge on smallmouth than I do, and even interpreting patterns and stuff like that. He's going to be able to give a lot better recommendations. So again, I'm not putting anything in this app that is not like fully vetted that I feel very confident in, and that might mean that there's going to be some features and some things that may be a little bit they may not be fully, where you want it to be, like, oh, I wish they had this or that or that. But the reason we're doing that is because I want the experience of this to be really great, so that if you're in these situations fishing for largemouth on that lake, you're going to be around fish, getting fish. And that's why we're taking this approach of we want to get it right rather than just rushing it out and just putting something out there. And that's what we've been working on for 2 years. And that's really important to me. I'm very detail oriented. If you couldn't tell from my YouTube videos, I'm kind of a perfectionist. So I'm working really hard to make sure that we're giving really, really, really good recommendations rather than just random stuff. Put it that way. Let's see here. Oh, Alan says his came in under promotions for the email, but he says downloading. So maybe, guys, if you do get emails, apparently these guys our team is adding them like crazy. So if you do, maybe check your spam emails and also your promotions emails, if that is the deal. Someone says their link doesn't work. Just if it's not working, Brandon, just re-email the team and they might be able to get you something. Get something rolling there. So hopefully that makes sense. Just send him an email, and then we can try to figure out what's going on with that. It looks like guys are getting in, so hopefully we should be able to get that going. Okay, another one says email came in, but the link doesn't work. That might... Okay, well, we will... Again, if your links aren't working, guys, or something's happening, just email us back. And we got people checking emails and stuff. It's help at deepdiveapp.com is the email that's getting sent. Again, it could go to your promotions email, or it could be going to like your spam. So definitely check that out, those different things out. But it's deepdiveapp.com. That's the email address, at deepdiveapp.com. So if you see that, that's our thing. And if the links are having issues or whatever, just again, email us back and we'll get back to you. I am not the expert on that side of it. I don't know anything that's going on there. I am the data algorithm and the content guy, not the app side guy. So definitely send your questions over to the email that's emailing you, and our team will get you squared away. Someone says, Jeremiah, he's saying you need a Gmail email to open it. Apparently Google Play requires you to have a Gmail account. So if you guys are trying to sign in and it's not, the link isn't working, you need to be signed in a Gmail account. So if you, for whatever reason, weren't using Gmail, you can actually probably go back and re-sign in to re-sign up for the beta. So if you signed up for like for the beta here, and you signed up on deepdiveapp.com and used an email that's not a Gmail email, apparently you need a Gmail email for the Google Play Store. That's for Android. So that's just something that's out of our control, unfortunately. But if you guys have a YouTube account or anything like that here, just use your YouTube account, so you're at gmail.com email, and you can just re-sign up for the beta. If you've signed up already with a different email and it's not working, just sign up again with a Gmail email, and then we'll be able to get that link working. Then Ryan says he had to click the link, go to test flight, close test flight, had to do that 2 or 3 times to let me in. Okay, so it sounds like It sounds like with the yeah, that's one thing with the test flight we've heard is that it doesn't automatically download the app once you download test flight. You have to download test flight, open it, close it, and then open it again, and then the app will be there and it'll say download deep dive. So sorry for the technical challenges. Again, when we have it up on the App Store, you just go to the App Store and download it. But right now we don't have it up there, so the link on deepdiveapp.com is the best way to do that, and that's just the way that the test flight thing works. So appreciate you guys' patience on all that. But man, we're getting a bunch of stuff. And ARJ says, wanted to let you know that my partner and I won the Bass Pro US Open last chance qualifier in Bull Shoals with your Fish the Moment offshore jig. $50,000. Do we owe you royalties? No, but congratulations on that. That is so cool. Wow, $50K. Let me do something here real quick. I'm actually going to pull up the Jewel website here because that I actually heard about that. I saw your email, so congratulations on that. That is absolutely awesome. And this is the jig they're talking about, guys. It's the Fish Moment offshore jig by Jewel Bait Company. I designed that jig for him. It's now $50,000 champion with my jig. That is great. So, proven baits. If I can design a good bait, and hopefully I can design a good app how to use the baits. That's the plan. So $50K won on the Fish Moment offshore jig. If you guys ever need a football jig for fishing offshore standing timber, brush piles, rock piles, whatever, check out jewelbait.com. Check out the Fish Moment offshore jig. You get 2 jigs for $6.99, which is awesome. Basically, $3.50 a jig for high quality skirts, high quality hook, weed guard, all that stuff. But that's awesome. Congratulations on the win. And let's see here. So far it looks good. Impressive amount of work to make it look as well as it does. Appreciate that. A lot of guys actually have it loaded, working well. That is awesome. App's up and running. That is awesome. Great job, guys. Yeah, and Big G with the Hartwell's low with spotted bass. Yeah, spotted bass. We're gonna get spotted bass in there. Don't worry. For the beta, we just have the largemouth, but we're gonna have spotted bass in there. So don't worry about that. It's just the beta thing. But spotted bass will be in there, and obviously the strategies will be specific for spotted bass and all that stuff. So. Yeah, that's good feedback there. Again, it's just the beta. So leave all that feedback though, and that's something that we're going to definitely address. You can see here in the, let me pull up the app again, just to give you guys an idea. It says for largemouth bass. You can actually click here in one version and that we have. It's not in the public beta. It's not right now, but you could potentially go in there and click and it'll say like spotted bass or other species. So that will be something that comes after launch, but in the beta it's not there yet. So it's just largemouth. So that's just the what we could get put together for the public beta. Again, it's just the beta. It's not the full release version. So it's not going to have every single lake. We'll have all the species, all that stuff in there, but the data is still in there. Is going to be accurate for the largemouth. What's in there is accurate for the species and the lakes that are there. Put it that way. Let's see here. Maximus Klein says it recommended exactly what I caught them on yesterday. That's awesome. That is really cool. And then this well fishing, if you want to sign up for the app, all you have to do is go to deepdiveapp.com, and let me pull up the website here. All you have to do if you guys are joining in now and you want to sign up for the app, just sign up at deepdiveapp.com and you'll be able to sign up for the beta, and there's just a sign up. Let me remove my face. Sorry. Right over here in the bottom, right here, real time. You see all the stuff, and then it says sign up for beta. So just click that. It'll ask you for your email and your fishing experience and what phone type you have, Apple or Android. That way we can send you the right link for the right type of phone. And if you are sending the link and for whatever reason it's not working on your phone, you may have just accidentally clicked like Android, but you have an Apple phone, or Apple, you have an Android phone. So just make sure you select the right thing, because the links we send you are specific to the phone you have. If it's an Apple phone, it works in Apple. The Apple link won't work on Android phones like a Samsung and stuff like that. But yeah, you can sign up here. Oh, sorry, I'm still blocking my face. But yeah, right here, sign up for beta on deepdiveapp.com. It's down in the description of the video, guys. And you can just look it up, deepdiveapp.com. Just down in the description, down there. Let's see here. Ryan's asking, when is the senior size of the VersaRaw coming out? That is a great question. Do not know. I do not know. That's a question that I would like to know as well. There's been a lot of just labor and issues and stuff like that. Getting people to build stuff and do things is always a challenge. And Jewel is already completely swamped with all the requests, because they are trying to get a tackle as fast as they possibly can. And so launching a new product right now is not the number one priority when they have such a high demand for their current existing products. They're just trying to stay above water, just filling demand on everything else. So the senior size VersaCraw, we have the mold done. I have them. I mean, I have some in my tackle box and stuff, but we're just waiting on the demand for everything else to cool down. Once everything slows down a little bit, then we'll get that VersaCraw out. We have some time to breathe. CD says, love the app, working great, awesome job, appreciate that, that's awesome. Let's see here. Alan says he'll be testing out the lake for sure. No Virginia lakes yet, but I've already requested a few. Awesome. Yeah, we have some Virginia lakes that are up there, but some of those are there's like in Virginia, it's kind of like on the border, so some of them are natural lakes, some of them are different types of lakes. So we didn't want to add all the Virginia lakes because some of them are weird types. And we tried to keep this just to highland and lowland lakes for the app, again, just to minimize data, just like the data, just back end app stuff that I don't know about, but it'll be in there. Signed up and downloaded already. Looks great, man. These got my app team. Just give a clap, give a little clap. If you guys are at home, give a clap to the app team for getting you guys into the beta already as we're talking. That is awesome. Really cool. Love to see. Ryan, don't say anything about the VersaWorm. Shh. It's another idea. Shh. That's something that once the VersaCraw Senior comes out, then yes, we have some. I have a bunch of ideas already, guys. If you cannot tell, I got a lot of ideas in my head. This app is one idea. The VersaCraw, the offshore jigs. I got a lot of random stuff up in my head. So yeah, don't spoil it all for him, Ryan. Just sign up for the beta. Looking forward to trying it out. This app looks awesome. Great. Appreciate that, Ryan. App won't let me put in a lake name on a lake request I did, allowing me to select the state, but couldn't request without entering lake name. Jesse, if you're trying to recommend, couldn't request without entering. So I would just put Jesse, I don't know what that, I'm not sure on that question. If you have any questions on adding lakes and stuff like that, just email us at help@deepdiveapp.com. And if you actually have the app open, guys, let me show you this really quick. For those who are here and still, watching, you can actually go into the app. This is the actual app I have open right here. I'm like moving it with my fingers. This is like the actual app. If you go up to the very top right corner and click the three dots there, you can actually go into the app, and if you go to help, scroll down, you can actually find help@deepdiveapp.com. So help@deepdiveapp, if you go to the help page, you'll be able to find that. So that's pretty cool. So help@deepdiveapp.com. And you can just send an email to those guys, or to those guys, to us. And we're going to be going. And Ryan, if you want to send me the email on that blueprint for the worm, just email me at info@fishmoment.com, and I'd love to take a look at that. let's see here. Okay. People are saying the app looks awesome. What is the website again? It's deepdiveapp.com. Deepdiveapp.com. What do you guys think of the name, by the way? Deep Dive. Good name? We went through a lot of names and a lot of stuff. We feel like Deep Dive is pretty cool. Pretty good name just because you're diving and it's like for data. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of the name because that's obviously we're not going to change it, but I'd just like to know just because we went through a lot of name stuff, if you guys can imagine. It's funny because picking Fish the Moment for my YouTube channel was like the easiest naming process ever, and then picking an app for the name Deep Dive took us like a year and a half. So, pretty funny. And then Todd, using the app currently, the cover gives me 6 types. Do I fish all these types, or is it telling me what all types of cover is in the lake? So Todd, with that, a lot of times the cover is the reason that we have a lot of different cover options is because on certain lakes, there's not going to be all of those covers available, but those are all covers that will work in those structures. But most of the time when you pull up on the structure, you're going to have one of those covers available to you. And sometimes if we restrict it too much, one thing I was always trying to play with is if you restrict it too much, you may not have any of those covers on your lake, but sometimes you may have multiple. So what I always try to do is, take that as like, there's a lot of potential covers, and I would try to fish a little bit of all of those if they're available on your spot. That's what I always do when I go to the lake, is I try, if there's boat docks and laydowns and chunk rock and everything on, like, let's say a channel swing bank, I'll fish all of it because all of those are going to be potentially good options, especially based on the conditions you're in. But then some of those covers will disappear and change based on the conditions. So, like, you have your bait fish in your rock pile here in these conditions on Grand Lake, but then let's say we skip ahead to the next morning in post front conditions. You now are going to let me find... Oh, sorry. I'm clicking the wrong thing. I was wondering what was going on. So now if you pull up here, so like as the conditions change, sorry, I was clicking the wrong buttons. But if you look here on the Carolina rig, it's saying you should throw it around bait fish and rock piles. That's a very small set of cover because that pattern's pretty specific in this lake type. But then as you come up to a different scenario where maybe you have more conducive conditions, more cover options are going to work. So with this deep diving crankbait pattern, for example, now you have a brush pile that got added in. Based on the conditions and the way that things are working, a brush pile is now a good option. A lot of times in the fall, what you'll find is that there's going to be a lot of different cover options that are working, especially in certain sections of the lake and certain water clarities. So we try to give as many options as we can. The cover is kind of the one that's the most broad at times, but there's other times where it's very specific. So really what that just means is that the conditions you're fishing in that you've selected are pretty effective for the, where you can catch them on a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things going on in that moment. If you change your water temperature, water clarity, those things might get restricted down. So hopefully that makes sense. What was the email again? Sorry, Johnny. It's info@fishthemoment.com if you want to email me, Ryan. Let's see here. Loving the app. Nearest lake is 50 miles away, but hope send you coordinates for nearby reservoir. Perfect. Good deal. Let's see here. And then Daniel said, I sent you a pic once on Facebook for your PB. Since I've caught 2 more incremental PBs on jigs. Thanks to you and Randy. Really appreciate it. Daniel, thanks for sharing. I'm glad that we're helping. Thanks for sharing that over with me. I'm glad that the jigs and everything are working for you. Love throwing a jig. Ken says, still like the suggestion, what would Jonny do? Hey, maybe that's a good button to add in there. What would Jonny do? And then I can pick my favorite strategy. Maybe it's like the different strategies. That's a kind of a cool option. Throw that in a request because I don't think my team's going to want to do that. But if everyone sends that in and you get a what would Jonny do button, they're going to have to put it in and put like a cheesy picture of my face. Like, smiling or something, or I'll be like really cool holding a fish. I don't know. We'll figure that one out. But yeah, we have to get a lot of requests from you guys to put that into the app. But hey, if you request it enough, I'll have some power to say, hey, we need a Jonny button. That would be pretty cool, having my own button in an app. Okay. Let's see here. And Mike says, do you have an affiliate link with Juliet? Basically, Mike, if you just purchase that Fish Moment Offshore jig on the Jewel website, I get royalties on that jig because it's only sold on that website. So it's just any jig sales there go straight to me royalty-wise. Not the whole thing, but I get royalties from the jig if you buy it on the website because that's the only place you can buy it. And then the VersaCraw, there's actually, I get royalties off of that, but if you use my Tackle Warehouse link and buy the VersaCraw through Tackle Warehouse, I double dip. I get the Tackle Warehouse affiliate and I get the royalty from Jules, so that's a pretty cool deal too. Let's see here. Requested 17 lakes. There you go, Harry. Rolling. Let's see here. Let's see here. Trying to read through. Alan says, not letting me select a state. Not all the states are going to be in there, Alan. Right now, we only have a limited set of states. We're going to have more. Just request those lakes. You may not have your exact lake in there, but you can request them, and then we'll get those all in there. Don't worry about that. And then not getting the email link after signing up. That was from Lake Ratatouille. If you haven't found the link yet, my team is probably getting a lot of requests, so they're trying to. We're sending them out individually. So every time we get an email, we have to go through a whole process of sending out the email request. So it may just take, give it like till tomorrow or maybe even the next day, depending on how many requests we're getting in. I don't know how many requests we're getting, so we could be getting hundreds of requests, and we have to do each one manually. So that's just the process. So have a little patience there if you could, but also check your spam email and your promotions email. Some people are getting into their promotions, and some people are getting into their spam in Gmail. And then Alan's asking, if you give 4 structures, is the first structure the highest percentage structure? Not necessarily. What I find with the structures is we have 4 options, like on here. We're giving 4 options on this deal. What I've found is that in certain lakes or certain creeks, you may not have great examples of all of these structures, but most of the time, all of these structures have the potential to be effective in that situation. So it's kind of giving you ideas of what structures could potentially be playing, and you may have to look at all of them. Again, we don't want to go. I was able, and maybe this is something you guys can give me feedback on as well, because this is how I thought about it. Maybe this is not how you guys want to think about it. So give me feedback on this as well. But I wanted to keep it not super restrictive, where like the structure and the cover are like super specific. I can make them more specific, but I feel like there's sometimes you can overfit your data, where if you say, this only happens this one specific moment, I might miss a time where, let's say I say channel swing points only work under this very certain small set of situations, which I know is not true. You might be restricting yourself. And there are times when I catch fish on all 4 of these structures in the same creeks on the same lake. Not always are they going to be on all of these though, but there are times seasonally, different times of the year that they will happen. So I tried to give a good number of options so that you have more options to work with that pattern in case you don't have all of this stuff there. I could restrict it more, but that's just one of the things going back and forth, and that's something we really want feedback on as well. If that's something that kind of throws you guys off, I can restrict it down more so that it's like, hey, this is definitely a place that works, but you could also you could be missing potential areas that are working as well if I overfit the forecast. If that makes sense in my head, because I did it for pizza and all that stuff. You never want to overfit a forecast, but hopefully that makes sense. Where I'm not trying to make it super locked in so that you can have some open-mindedness in there. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes any sense. Getting a lot of great questions here. Cool. Guys are saying they got it. Where's love for the Cali? Don't see any lakes. We have California lakes in in the back end of the server. We are going to be putting those in for version 1 launch. Don't worry. Any lakes get requested, we're going to do our best to get them into the app. As long as we can locate them and everything. If it's a really tiny lake, it's like a private lake, it's going to be hard to get them all in. But we're going to get as many lakes as we can that you guys request into the app for version 1. And that way, a lot of the lakes you guys are probably requesting, we already probably have them. We're just not showing them, again, to reduce complexity for the beta. Let's see here. Man, so many questions. 1 second here. Guys are saying they love it. That's awesome. At 300 signups right now. There we go. That's awesome. 300 signups from the live stream. That's crazy. We just talked about this. So that's why it might be a little bit slow getting requests, because we have to send out 300 separate emails. So the fact that these guys are rolling on our team, just give us patience if you didn't get the request right this second. But that's a lot of requests right off the bat, which is awesome. Thank you guys for signing up. We really appreciate it. And if you guys are interested in signing up, just check it out, deepdiveapp.com. That's where you can sign up. You can sign up for our public beta right here. Oh, sorry. Let me get my cursor. Right here. Sign up for the beta, deepdiveapp.com, and you can get it downloaded and just send us. I'm seeing some great, let's see here. Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of great questions. So just send those questions in. Take some time to look at the app. One question I'm seeing here that I want to answer really quick is, let's see. Give me a second here, guys. Sorry, I'm just trying to get everything rolling. One question from Harry. Will the app show suggested areas for each technique for each individual lake? Yes. So the suggestions are specific to the lake that you put in. They're specific to the bait that you pick. And then it's specific not only to that bait. It's not just generic. All of these structure and cover recommendations, boat depths, all that stuff adjusts based on the current weather conditions that automatically populate and the 3 factors you can put in here. Your water temperature, your water clarity, whether there's grass or not. That's it. You put those 3 factors in: water temperature, water clarity, if there's grass, all the other factors, water level, current flow, frontal conditions with the barometric pressure, all that stuff automatically calculates, and it will let you know which section of the lake to fish, what structure and cover the best in that situation, in that time of the year, all those things. And the nice thing is that since we have this set up, we can make tweaks to the algorithm. We can do things like that for all these different types of lakes, all the different river systems and stuff like that. So it's not just like throw deep diving crankbait and it's going to be the same info here all the time. We can tweak it to say, hey, if you're on a river system, maybe that deep diving crankbait, you need to be fishing it shallower. You need to be fishing it on different types of stuff. And we adjust all of that and give you different examples, all those things. And again, we only have 2 lake types in here for the public beta, but we're going to have all kinds of stuff going on with river systems, natural lakes, bayou, swampy lakes in Louisiana, Florida lakes, all those things are going to be in here, and we're going to have assets and stuff that align to those different lake types. So it's not just going to be Highland reservoirs where I fish. The data is going to be specific for the lake types that you're on, and it adjusts all the recommendations for that. It's pretty smart. It's not just a basic like throw a crankbait because it's windy and it's the summertime. There's a lot more going on there than that. Let's see here. Johnny's going to be so amped up tonight he'll never fall asleep. Tom, you're so right. I've wanted to share this for so long, and I'm like, this is like, I'm nervous. I have sweaty palms, clammy palms. My pits are drenched, and I'm very excited. And I've never been so excited to share something like this. And I've never worked on a project for 2 years of my life and never been able to share it with anyone, while also making videos and being on a live stream every single week. So like I could share it whenever I want, and there's all these people who would love to hear about it, but I had to keep it a secret, and like that was hard, but we did it. So anyways, let's see here. A few more things. People are saying it's worth clearing out some extra data for some pictures. There we go. And then Michael says next week do an in-depth stream on using the app so we can get the most out of it. I'm actually going to do some videos, guys, once I get the app launched. I'll be doing some Catch 15 videos where I actually use the app for like 3 or 4 weeks in a row just to show you guys what's going on. Also going to be getting feedback from you guys, and I'm going to share that as we go through this beta testing process. I'll share the feedback with you guys of what's interesting, what we're hearing, so that you guys know we're hearing your feedback. So we're going to be very communicative. We're going to communicate with you throughout this process, and we really want, again, really appreciate your feedback and just want as much feedback as we can get from you guys to make this app a better experience. If this is something that you guys really like and you really want, the best way you can help us make this better is just give us feedback, and we're going to work to make it better. That's one thing that I can guarantee you. Even if there's little features here or there that maybe you would like to have or things like that, give us feedback. If we get enough feedback about it, we will work to add it. This is just the beginning. This is not the end state by any means. And think about this. This is what gets me most excited about this app. For those who are still here, this is the beginning of this app. When we launch a version 1, there's going to be version 1.1, 1.2, 2.0, 3.0. So many things that can be, improved and added to make this even more useful and beneficial than it already is. And I feel like we made something as extremely valuable as it is right now, and it's just going to get even better in the future. So again, supporting us by helping us with the public beta, and then also supporting us when the app launches, actually signing up and using the app and supporting us that way. It helps us be able to put more time into the app, put more resources into the app to make it even better. So again, as we get closer to launch, I'll let you guys know timelines and all that stuff. Don't have any of that information right now, but when we do, we will let you know, and that way you're going to be able to help support us through this whole process. And you guys are amazing at supporting Fish Moment already, so I know you guys are going to do a great job with this as well. So again, really appreciate all the people signing up, all the excitement around it. Let us know your feedback. Love to hear it. And we want as much of it as you can. Harsh criticism or positive feedback, anything you guys have, we want it all, so we really know what we can do to make this better. And just know that we are committed to making it the best possible app we can. So really excited to see what the future of this is, and really excited to share it with you guys. So anyways, thanks for checking out the stream tonight, guys. Didn't get to my whole Catch 15 data thing. I spent like 3 minutes on that, and then it went away. But anyways, Timo says Johnny's going out tonight. There we go. I actually need to wake up tomorrow morning, finish up a YouTube video, and then go fishing. So I get to go fishing again this week. I'm very excited, actually. This is 4 weeks in a row. This is like a record for me. Let's see here. Great video on the main channel posted today. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate that. These I hate customer phone calls that interrupt my Fish the Moment videos. And then Anthony says, sent the "What would Johnny do" email request. Awesome. Good deal, guys. Glad some guys saying it's really easy to use. Appreciate that. So again, let us know what you think. And anyways, one more question or one more idea here. What if the app information for the day fishing could be downloaded to our units? That would be really cool if we could get it onto a fish finder or something like that. That's something we might have to. That might be beyond the scope right now, but that's a really cool idea. And then Jesse says, "Tell the team thanks for the hard work. Enjoying the app already." Awesome, Jesse. Appreciate that. And again, huge shout out to the team, guys, working with. I'll introduce you to them one of these days so you guys can get to meet some of the app team as well. We'll probably have them on for the launch so you can meet all of them. They're a great team of guys, and they're just really dedicated to creating a smooth, seamless app that just works well, feels good, that you guys can use to help you catch more fish. That's the whole goal with this. And so really appreciate everyone's support, appreciate everyone signing up, and we'll see you guys next week back on the Fisherman live stream. We'll probably have Randy on next week to talk about something, and we'll be also by the way, if you guys do like these Fisherman live streams and want to watch them or listen to them while you're driving to the lake, while you're at the office, we're back to uploading the live streams onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're uploading these live stream recordings so you can listen to them as you are going to the lake, sitting around at work. We're also re-airing old live streams from last year this time of year, because a lot of the information is still relevant, obviously, from a year ago about patterns and stuff. And so we'll be re-airing those onto the streams or onto the podcast. So you'll have a lot of content coming there. And I'll also be posting my Catch 15 prep video audio there as well. So you can listen to the prep videos for my Catch 15 YouTube channel videos if you just want to listen to them rather than watch the video. And so all that'll be going on to the Fish the Moment podcast on Apple and Spotify. So if you have Apple Podcast app or Spotify, just type in Fish the Moment podcast and you'll find that there, and you can listen to it on whatever you're doing. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys just looking at all this stuff. Someone says they need a phone mount now by their fish finder, so they can have this right next to the right next to their fish finder. There we go. Good deal. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks again. We went really long tonight, but I was too excited to make this short. So thanks again for all the support, and we'll see you guys next week.